Welcome back to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. We begin conversations this morning in studio. We speak with Mr. Andre Alexander. He is a financial advisor, and of course, we're going to be speaking about how we're going to preserve our coins in the July-August vacation. We're speaking about budgeting for this period. As I mentioned earlier, the children are at home and they always want something. Mommy, get this for me. Daddy, get this for me. I need to get a snack. And they're always in and out of the pantry and the kitchen and the fridge and, just wanting all things. So this morning we're speaking with an expert who's going to talk us through how do we manage all of these expenses. Good morning, Mr. Alexander, and welcome.
Good morning, and thank you very much for having me.
Of course, I went on talking about all the things that happen during the vacation period,
Yes,
with
yes,
our children being home and always wanting something. And
yes,
it's surprising because when they go to school during the term, sometimes they bring the snacks back in the lunchbox.
exactly.
But when they're home, they want everything.
That's right.
So
That's right.
how do we navigate? What are some of the challenges that we face, in fact, and how do we navigate in terms of ensuring we stick to a budget? I mean, some people probably don't even create a budget, and so you just spend because the need is there, so you spend. How do
Sure.
we do that?
Well, yeah. So, I think, as you said, a professional in this field. I think what makes me a professional is the fact that I have three children.
Justly so.
Yes. I think that experience essentially is what basically gave me the skills to navigate this period because July August period is a very challenging period for most parents, right? I mean, during school time, you have school feeding. You don't have to pay a lot of transportation because you can take a hop on the bus and stuff like that. But during July, August, I just said, I mean, the grocery bill skyrockets. Everywhere you go now, it's a cost to you, the parent. And so certainly we need to know how we can successfully navigate this period. Budgeting is, I think, one of the key elements of navigating the period because, they say if you don't plan, right, then anything essentially could happen. Yes. And I remember there's a scripture that says every enterprise is built by wise plan. And so a plan is vitally important during this period because it's different the other periods of the year. So as we approach the July, August, I mean, we're already halfway through the period. But generally, as we approach the period, I think as parents, it is important to establish a plan. Establish a plan because we would know our finances, our financial positions. I don't have an inexhaustible amount of money. I don't
Though we
know.
wish we
There might
would.
be there might be individuals out there who do, yes. But I don't have an inexhaustible amount of money. So therefore, I need to know how how I am going to allocate funds to cover the expenses that I anticipate over this period. And a budget is key to doing that. So what is a budget? A budget essentially is just a plan for spend, right? A budget essentially incorporates two elements: income, the money you have, and expenses, right? So it's an inflow, the income is an inflow, and the expenses is an outflow. So you're trying to match your inflows with your outflows,
That's right.
essentially. Yes? And you really can't spend more than you have, right?
End up in
So
debt.
exactly so. So at the end of the day, you want to ensure that you keep within your means, you stay within your means. Yes, and that's important because a lot sometimes individuals tend to extend themselves over this period and as you said end up in unnecessary debt, yeah, and so we're trying to avoid that. So outside of the general elements of your budget, of course, when you're doing a budget over this period, you have to always factor in your normal expenses, your rent, for your groceries, paying your insurance, paying putting aside money for fuel and all of that. Your normal living expenses you allocate. Yes. But again, during the period, we have the additional expenses of the children being home. Yeah, the children being home, even electricity
Yes.
is an additional expense with your children, with children being home because they're on their devices, they're on the television, the AC is running, AC is running all day because it's hot during the day. So AC running all day, even electricity is an additional cost to that. Yeah. And one of the innovative ways that I have found in managing or in supplementing a budget is to let them find work.
Mm. All
Yes.
right.
So
This was a salient point here. The pause that you made was a
yes,
salient. Yeah.
we think that okay, July, August for children is just free for all kind of thing.
Mm.
I do what I want, and I get up when I get up when I like, and all of that. I From the time that they are of age, yes. So, for instance, my own experience, my son is of age, yes, and so he, we found a job for him, right? Not to the entire vacation because of course they need the rest, relaxation, the recreation, right? Of course, yeah. But we found a job for him. So you earn your own spending money once you're of age, yeah, and that supplements your budget, right?
But what happens for the child that is not of age to work? How do we manage including things like perhaps maybe summer camps or summer activities? Some parents like to go maybe a weekend away. How do we factor in those things into the budget and be able to manage them? And sometimes we have persons who spend impromptu spenders.
Yes,
How do we factor in all of those things and stick to a budget that is manageable so that at the end of the summer we may be thinking, oh goodness, no, I have that. Because also remember, we still have school books to purchase
that's right.
for
That's right.
September and
That's
so
right.
on.
That's right. Well, the age factor for me is relative, right? Because I think that we need to begin to inculcate in our children a sense of earning and developing their earning capacity. And for me, I don't see that there is any age restriction where that is concerned. So whilst your child may not be old enough to go out into the world of work, they are old, they can develop an earning capacity. So for instance, as a child, because you have institutions who have children who are engaged in fundraising, and it would mean that the parent would need to get involved. So for instance, chow, which child can make chow? You know, and chow is such a big seller all over the place. We line up sometimes to buy all sorts of chow. And the thing is, they don't need to go out into the public to sell it. Just basic
In the
family members
community,
in the
right?
community, family members. Because you see a child come around with a parent and selling chow, half of the time you're buying it just because your heart goes out to the child. Yeah.
Right.
And so from a very tender age, we can begin to inculcate a sense of earning and a sense of entrepreneurship in our children that would redound to their benefit in the long run.
And you find that when children begin to, or young adults begin to earn, you realize they don't spend as much.
That definitely so
They
because
don't.
they're working for it.
Yeah.
They're expending the energy and time and effort and everything else to get it there. So they have a greater appreciation. Yeah, for it. Yes. The point you made with regards to the sports camps and stuff like that. That's an excellent way of engaging children, right? And that is something that parents need to avail themselves to. It is an excellent way of engaging children, and it's an excellent way, again, of supplementing your budget because these things are funded by the government. Yes, you basically just have to get the child there, you know, and probably provide them with a meal. I mean, some camps even provide a meal.
These are government
I
funded
mean,
camps, but they are
yes,
camps that are private
yes,
camps. But I suppose it depends on your preference
yes,
and what your
certainly so.
capacity in terms of what you can manage and afford.
Certainly so, certainly so. So yes, so yeah, as I said, it's excellent, it's excellent, and we have to look at that. The other things, other activities that you could get involved in, inexpensive activities. You have beaches all over the place, you know. We have beaches all over the place. Take advantage of that. We have play parks all over the place. Take advantage of that. Yes. We do not necessarily have to expense ourselves in engaging with our children in activities. We have a beautiful island that we live on. And sometimes we live here, and sometimes the tourists know more of the island than we do.
That's very true.
Yeah. So take a tour, jump in. I mean, pull up your tongue, pull up a cooler, have some food, and take a tour around the island. Get the children to know the island, to know the beauty of the island, to appreciate what we have as an island,
And when you start planning your budget, because earlier you said we have to factor in our regular budget,
Yes.
our regular living expenses,
Yes.
when we're heading into planning for the July-August period.
Yes.
From what month or how far in advance do you suggest or propose that we start planning ahead for July-August? Because you don't want to wait until the end of June to say, "Ooh, it's July next month and I've already,
Correct. Correct.
deployed all of my finances." So
Correct.
how soon do you think we should start planning?
I will say from the beginning of June, because your salary for June will begin to be affected by the July August vacation.
Yeah.
So you need to begin from June to plan of how it is. Okay, after you get this salary, or whether you have to rely on other resources, other cash resources that you may have, other savings or whatever the case may be. You begin to plan from there, because the effect starts from July. So June would be a good time to start your planning.
And sometimes we fall victim to the last minute rush. Like, what am I going to do with the child in July? We wait until school the end of the first week in July, when we know the school bell is going to ring, and
Right.
that's the end of the summer. We're now looking at what shall we do next? Where do we send them? What do we do with them? Whether they go to a camp. So I really appreciate the fact that you think of it ahead in advance, so that you
Yes.
kind of know how to manage those finances.
Yes.
And I like the idea of engaging the young children, chow making and whatever they can find with their hands to do around the house, to get them into that. Because one thing that we don't do is we do not encourage our children in sales,
Right.
as
Right.
you rightfully said. So I
Mhm.
like the idea of having to create that entrepreneurial type of thinking with our
Yeah.
young children as well. And in closing, is there any thing the one thing that you'd want our viewers to take away today? If you were to give them one piece of advice in terms of generally managing your budget on a monthly basis to ensure that you don't go into debt, you don't get frustrated or overwhelmed when things happen, what would you tell them, advise them to do?
Well, the old saying, don't hang your hat where your hand can reach. I think that's the major thing. We know what our means are, and we should stick within our means. I was thinking that we need to, become aware, or expose ourselves to, or acquire as much knowledge as we can in terms of the options that are available to us. Yes, so explore the various options that are available to us. So information allows us to make good decisions. So get as much information as we can as possible to make good decisions. Just if I may, one of the things that a lot of parents need to be aware of as well, especially as it relates to going out to school and planning in terms of the expenses to go to school. There are a lot of institutions, and if I may put a plug for the credit unions, there are a lot of institutions, credit unions in particular, provide a lot of, through the education committee, they provide a lot of grants to students. You have to be a member, of course, so it's good to sign up your children. With the credit union, most of the credit unions, you have to be a member for about 5 years. But for SCA and also for tertiary education, those come out in July or August. Yes, and so that's another way that parents can supplement, their income and to sort of uh, minimize the expense that they have with regards to sending their children to school, be it primary, from primary into secondary or into tertiary. There are a lot of grants, and as I said again, information. I you know get as much information in terms of the options that you have available so that you can make a good sound decision.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We're speaking with Andre Alexander, financial advisor here, and this morning talking us through how to budget for the July-August vacation period, and of course, how to apply the budget to your regular monthly expenses, with the encouragement, of course, there to join a credit union and access all the funding and the grants that are available as well. Of course, we want to save our pennies. We want to enjoy our lives, but we also want to do it responsibly. So if you can go back on this recording and make sure that you pick up the points that were made here this morning so that you can apply them to your budgeting. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to go for a short break before we continue conversations in studio. And as we go for a break, we invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.